Good morning, this is Jack from Charlton Markets Crypto, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 21st of August. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to pursue trading signals. Right, looking at Bitcoin, this, I think, is definitely no longer a bear flag. This is a first impulse up. So the question is, what happens next? Well, if we have a look at the last bear market here, we saw this impulse here. It actually goes up the next 2 weeks a bit, and then pulls back significantly, and then goes. This is ideally this would see a move back to the weekly middle band. It actually saw that, but it actually took a couple of months before it got back to that back test and went. Looking at Solana. Solana, looking at the last bull market, this was the impulse up. That almost came back up and retested the low. This was the main one that's equivalent, I think, and that mostly retraced. There is kind of a theme here where these kind of impulses do tend to retrace quite a lot before it then goes higher. In terms of looking at Ethereum here, the main one was this one here, which broke over. We did see a very short break here, which then went into a lower low. It could be that we're looking at that here, but I think the chances of a lower low are now down about 25% in my opinion. But here again, we see a move up and we see a retracement, takes us slightly below the weekly middle band, and then it goes up. And this is after about 2 months. Could we go up from here next couple of weeks? Yes, we could. That's what happened when this happened at the last bull market. But in the short term, I'm liking the short side. I think this is probably topped out for this week. We've got no divergence on the daily charts, although we could bring some up with a retest of the high and higher, of course. But on the hourly charts here, these are RSI 14 and RSI 5 sell signals fixed on the hourly chart on Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum. I'm really liking the short term. Is this the start of the main retracement? Very possibly not. And I'm thinking that we may well see higher high next week, and then very possibly set up some daily sell signals, which could set up the real retracement. So we could basically see a couple of green weeks for the next couple of weeks. This move, however, is likely a significant majority of the move we've seen so far. We would see weakening upside, increasing negative divergence, and then a pullback which could last a month or 6 weeks, into a low which ideally would get us back into about the weekly middle band area, and then go. So that's what I'm leaning towards saying. In terms of the daily charts here, no negative divergence, but we need a pullback and a retest to see negative divergence over a multiple of days. And on the hourly charts, I think we've pretty much ruled out the bear flag option, and the IHS that we've been looking at broke up with the target in these 76.250, 76.300 area, I think, and that made target yesterday in this very impressive move. All right, Solana has gone higher over the daily middle band, over the weekly middle band, which was the main resistance we've been watching for quite a while, and has actually made it up to the weekly upper band. Daily chart, again, no current negative divergence. Hourly chart, plenty of negative divergence. This could still theoretically be a bear flag, but I am doubtful. So I'm thinking that's probably not going to be the case. Could it be? Yeah. But it wouldn't be a nice bear flag. But I'm leaning against it. I think chances are the low is already in. All right, looking at Ethereum, nice move up, reaching the weekly upper band as well. Getting also pretty close to, we're at 2492. We're getting pretty close to the 200 DMA here, which is another big resistance level. But this is the main one was the weekly mid, which we've gone through, and the 200 DMA, which we've gone through as well. So nice move up. Do we have overall larger topping patterns established here already? Yes, we do. There's a nice looking double bottom here on Bitcoin, and looking at Solana. we've got a decent looking double bottom, although a much smaller one, with resistance up here in the 98.38 area. Looking at Ethereum, we've got a nice looking double bottom as well, or possible IHS, part formed IHS, so we shall see. But I'm expecting I think the most of this move is probably already done. We could see upside for the next week or two before this turns, although we could just turn straight here. If we were to get down and get below the week to middle band next week, that would suggest we might well see a lower low or a retest of this low. But we don't really need to see that because we've already got a pretty decent looking double bottom set up already. We shall see how it goes. All right, great. Yeah, my pleasure as always, mate, and you have a wonderful weekend. And I shall see you guys on Monday. All right, cheers.